Hey, yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Another episode of the All Pro JAFFOs, bringing you the highly elevated sports talk for the highly elevated sports fan. We got a big show for you today. I'm your host, JP.
Hey, yo.
With me, as always, the best and greatest DJ on the entire fucking planet, Mr. DJ Mad Sticks.
What's good, yo.
You guys know, joining us in a little bit, the 6'10 beast from the Southeast, Mr. Country K. And like I said, we got a big packed show for you today. Second hour of the show. The great debate is here, ladies and gentlemen. Big Rob Fabien from the East taking on Derek Suge Light Duncan for the West. Coming in the second hour. It's going to be a good one. You're not going to want to miss out on that. Tell your friends, tell your family, get in on it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to get in on the comments. Don't forget to hit the bell and hit the like button, share with everybody as well. Getting into it for the first hour, the NFL divisional round has come and gone. Certain prophecies have not been fulfilled, thank God. And then others, I'm still slightly confused about. But nonetheless, let's get right into it. The Houston Texans taking on the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. A few of us picked picked the Ravens. A few of us picked the Texans. I picked the Texans because again, he's been playing so good throughout this entire time, regular season, and even this first game in the playoffs. Just to be, he still led in passing with 175. But obviously the result came out the way it did. Lamar Jackson is just uh he's that guy. Lamar Jackson is just that guy. From that game, Matchsticks, I think you picked the Texans, did you not?
Yeah, I think the Texans, I wanted to see CJ Stroud. He's been balling out, so yeah, there's going to be some good things that come out of Houston in the next couple of years. They can keep it together. He stays healthy. They get a full year to add those key components, and they definitely going to make a run. I mean, they made a run this year, so.
Making it all the way to the divisional round, where at the beginning of the year, even with the addition of CJ Stroud, the expectations were not very high for Houston, especially with DeMeco Ryans being a first-year head coach, having a lot of that defense that needed to get rebuilt. And it did, and it over or superseded everyone's expectations of them, which definitely means, like Mazdik said, in the next few years are going to be very interesting. They got something brewing out there in Houston. But again, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens, just absolutely too much. 34-10 at the end of that game. Like I said, CJ Stroud led every passing with 175. Lamar Jackson led everybody in rushing with 11 carries for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 150 through the air and some tutties through there as well. Nico Collins led all receiving with 5 receptions and 68 touchdowns. And the Baltimore Ravens moving on to the AFC Championship game. Lamar Jackson finally, because he had some doubters over the long run too, that he couldn't win a playoff game and this, and that. So he's finally got his playoff win. And the Ravens are once again hosting a AFC Championship game.
And that was crazy because I don't know why I thought he had been there before, but I guess he hadn't been there. I had to go look it up. Flacco was the last one he won for Baltimore.
So
yeah.
Lamar Jackson, his first MVP year, and I say his first because this year he's probably going to get the MVP again. His first MVP year, they were a one and done. They made it to the playoffs, but they didn't win. So for him to get his win, they're in the AFC, which, looking at the AFC picture, I think they have a really good chance at beating the Chiefs. I really do.
Yeah.
I I wouldn't be surprised if somehow, some way, the refs got involved and it went the other way. But the Ravens have just proven the entire year that they're the team to beat in the AFC and probably the team to beat in the entire league. And I'm saying that as a 49ers fan because, again, we did get our asses kicked by them. Brock Purdy had his worst game of the year against the Ravens.
That's how
With
you know the NFL is scripted because the Niners shouldn't even still be in that shit.
oh, here we go with the boo-hoo.
Chip
Here we
shot.
go with the boo-hoo.
Come on. Nah, fucking what's the name catches that pick six? It's a different game. Y'all
100%.
lose. Y'all lose if he
I agree with that. I agree, obviously, that if the Packers field goal kicker, goes and makes that field goal at the end, that they have a better,
because
it's
then
a
you
tie
up by
game instead of the
because then you up
49ers.
you up by then they up by 6 at that point because if they get that pick six and score, then they still up, and then he goes and kicks that field goal, then they win by 6.
Yep. But the fact of the matter is, and
But
that's the next
that script, boy, I'll
too.
tell you that script.
You can call it the script all you want to. Brock Purdy, man, yeah, he did not have a good game. And I wanted to make that very clear to everybody that I was talking to and quote unquote arguing with on social media. I never said that, and Mizzle, very good point. We know the rule: if you drop an INT, you usually end up losing because you gave the other team, another chance, another opportunity. So once the football gods give you one chance, you gotta execute and make sure that it works because you may not get it again. But this was a game where, I mean, again, Brock Purdy, 252 yards. He had a touchdown. He almost had a pit, and I had even gone on Mizzle and Dub's show, and had said the same thing. At no point did I say that Brock Purdy had an all-timer type of game. But you got to look for it for what it is. And I really do. And I never thought in my lifetime I would say this because of all the years that he gave us hell. But because he was on the team, I got a little bit more respect for him. Richard Sherman has been going to bat for the 49ers, giving up as much stats and everything that he possibly can to let especially somebody like, I mean, I know it's hard for Richard Sherman because he's got to deal with the likes of both Keyshawn Johnson and Skip Bayless. Neither one of them know what the fuck they're talking about. So I understand as a Stanford graduate, it's hard for him to, listen to the stupidity that surrounds him on that show and have to basically set him in line going, no, kids, this is the right direction. Come on, step in line. Let's go. But with Brock Purdy, the whole thing that it came to, and you know what's also weird? Because this also got brought up, and I wanted to ask you this question. When I go with what does this guy have to do to garner people's respect, I really wonder because he's done more already than Jimmy G has. Yet Jimmy G was praised as this winner. He was the guy, all Jimmy G does is win games. He doesn't have to really wow you on the stat card. He wins games. Jimmy G was the definition of a dink and dunk game manager style quarterback. Brock Purdy is outperforming him, throwing the ball downfield way more often than Jimmy G ever did, has been winning games at the same rate, if not better than Jimmy G has, yet he's getting all the hate. Why?
Because a lot of it got to do with your fan base. A lot of people just don't like the Niners just because of your fan base. Your fan base think y'all just the greatest fucking entity that ever played in the NFL, and y'all really not. Y'all really not those guys. It shows that, you ain't want to chip in over 30 years. You big, and you came up with the L. So, but then you give folks, saying Purdy was like the MVP. He ain't proved shit yet. He ain't proved nothing. Like, to me, if you're going to say MVP, like, okay, you compare him with CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud was a rookie. CJ Stroud came in there balling to me.
And
fucking CJ Stroud did way better than Purdy did. Purdy, to me, Purdy's not an MVP.
I agree. We've even said on this show that CJ Stroud, had he not gotten hurt, would have been the MVP as a rookie.
James B, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Talking about we are the best. Say that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's that fan base right there.
But like the whole when you're giving an MVP to somebody during the you're not giving him an MVP based on what he's already done, achievement wise. You don't base this year's MVP off what he did last season. You just or you don't base giving an MVP to Mahomes based on the 2 Super Bowl wins that he has. You base it off what he does this year. And this year, especially, like I said, up until the Baltimore game, statistically, he was leading everything that was important. The only thing that he wasn't really leading in was, I think, passing touchdowns and yards, but he was still top 3 when it came to that. So he's putting up all these numbers knowing full well that everybody is against him for whatever reason. Everybody is against him as soon as he gets here. Why? Maybe it's because he's the last pick in the draft. I don't know. I really don't know what the reason is behind that. But I don't understand how, especially after this game, because look, again, he didn't have the greatest game. The conditions were not great. Jordan Love didn't have a good game, at all, especially at the end with the Cardinal sin throw. And yet after the game, people are talking about, oh, Jordan Love needs to get extended. Yeah, Jordan Love is that guy. He had a worse game than Brock Purdy did, and he's getting talked about like, oh, man, Green Bay's got their guy. That's what I'm saying. Matt, he can outperform all of your favorite quarterbacks and still not get the fucking proper respect that he deserves. Okay, yeah, he hasn't done shit when it comes to championships, but at least for what he has done, coming back from essentially quarterback suicide surgery from getting the surgery on his elbow, and the very next year, his second year in the league, breaks the 49ers franchise passing record and takes the team on a game-winning drive that, yes, you can even look at the numbers of all the stats too. That was all Brock Purdy. Spreading the ball out, he gave one to Ayuk, who made a hell of a catch, but that was a hell of a window that Purdy had to put that in. He had Conley at the other side. He ran for 11 more yards. And then just the top of the cherry on top, Mr. CMC, the last 7 yards, just boom, punch it in there because they were already done. That whole drive was a Brock Purdy-led drive. And what did all the talking heads say? Oh, well, we need to see, Brock Purdy and the 49ers do have a game-winning drive and a comeback victory. They're 0-30 when they're losing. Okay. Brock Purdy goes and does that. They win the game. Well, and then Keyshawn Johnson. Well, when you're coming from behind, it's really double digit. Losing is losing. You should know. You were a part of a lot of it, fucking Keyshawn, Mr. New York Jet. Waste of a number 1 overall fucking pick. What did you do in Tampa, by the way? You weren't really the guy there, too. Juravicious was better than you were. What are we really talking about? What are we really projecting? You're mad that you're wrong, so you fall back on it and try to have a different conversation. The moving of the goalpost is pretty insane when it comes to Brock Purdy. It is fucking nuts.
I'm telling you, it's because y'all Niners. Don't nobody like the Niners but y'all. There's a whole bunch of bandwagon ass fans that all of a sudden became Niner fans over the past couple years since they've been winning.
I agree.
They never had that many fans the way they got right now. There's a bunch of bandwagon ass fans.
I agree with it too.
They don't know shit about football. Don't know shit. They couldn't even tell me. You know what I always ask people when they say you a true Niner fan? I was like, where did the Niner training camp used to be? If they can't answer that, they wouldn't know true Niner fan. I ain't a fucking true Niner fan, and we used to go to the training camp because the family was. So that was the Bubba Smith days, and back in the day.
I agree because throughout the season, I get frustrated with our own fan base. That there are certain times where you just need to keep your fucking mouth shut. Just shut up. Wait for something to happen before it happens, because again, you're over here talking, and this is why myself, Mad Six, and even K, we've kind of grown to, you know what? I'm not gonna say shit until the game is over. Because as soon as we start talking, something goes wrong, and it goes the other way. Now we're over here looking like idiots. But once the game is finally up, don't don't get Dub started on the fan. But no, I understand completely. I know the 49ers fan base can be hard to bear with at times. I do understand that. But I also but also as a fan, would I trade going to an NFC Championship game or a Super Bowl 4 out of the last 5 years with any other team? No. No, I would not. Now, I have been very critical of the team. I have said, especially going into the NFC Championship game and Super Bowl, what needs to happen is Kyle Shanahan needs to get out of his own head. He needs to stop getting cute. They already think he's, an offensive genius. Why do you got to do more? Why do you got to prove that? Just do what's working and you'll end up winning the game. It's when you start to get cute and you start trying to buy into all the shit that's been talked to you about you, that's when you start to fail. So it's really about Kyle Shanahan getting out of his own head and Brock Purdy just doing what he does. He stays cool, calm, and collected regardless of what's going on. That's what we need. We can't have a quarterback that just, oh man, you can actually tell that he's rattled, on the field while things are going wrong. We talked about that game against Baltimore. Those 4 interceptions, 3 of them we counted. We can look at the film. 3 of them out of those 4 were not his fault. They were off the hands of receivers. The first one, yes. The first one looked exactly like the one that Savage should have picked 6 in this last game. Looked exactly like it. He didn't see safety coming over and right in front of him.
Yeah, that shit should have been to the house. Oh.
I even told Mizzle and Dub that if Savage would have gotten that would have been 6, and it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game that we're talking about, right? And that's just that's the reality of it. There were definitely a bunch of what if moments in that game that could go the other way, but that goes for every game. There's always what if moments, and for every team going through everything, there's always these well, if they would have done this, or if this would have done that. Well, obviously the outcome would have been fucking different. It had other things gone your way. But as we know, this game is about momentum, and how you capitalize on momentum will determine whether or not you win the game. And that's just, and when you get turnovers and you capitalize on momentum, you win games. And that's exactly what happened with the 49ers. They got the turnovers. They capitalized on their momentum. They didn't make mistakes at the end of the game, and they ended up winning. That's just, and they did it without Debo. Again, people sit here and act like, the conditions were nice and sunny and perfect weather that day. You know, you had Brock Purdy mid-play wiping his hands on his pants to get better grip for the ball. You know, to be able to throw it downfield, which, by the way, some of those throws that he made, especially that one into triple coverage right over the defender to Jawan Jennings, if any other quarterback makes that throw, they're sitting there, you know, all these talking heads on TV, including guys like Nick Wright, would be sitting in their chair like Stan's dad in South Park, just fucking covered. They'd have a 3-hour show on how amazing Brock Purdy is and why he's the greatest of all time already right now. But because it's Brock Purdy, the argument gets weird. It doesn't make sense. The narrative of dink and dunk quarterback does not apply to Brock Purdy, yet he's tagged with it. You lead the league in attempts, in yardage attempt. Like, this means before when somebody makes the catch, there's the yak. But through the air, he led the league in yards per attempt. How is that dink and dunk? Check down last time I checked was not 9 yards downfield. 10 yards downfield. He led the league in big play completion percentage. Like, what do we... That means downfield ball, people. That means 25 plus. Led the league in that. What are we talking about? Like, I could understand, yes, Matt Sticks, I love your argument because that's the fact of it. People are just tired of the fan base talking all the shit in the world. When we do something, then we can talk. But until then, relax.
Shut the fuck up.
Relax for a second. You know what I mean? There's still a long way to go. We've gotten there before, and we haven't won. So relax. Stop, getting it. Well, and I know people in coach like, well, a lot of fan bases like, no, not every fan base is coming out here going, oh, we're winning the Super Bowl, this year. We're going to the Super Bowl, like Cowboys fans and 49ers fans have been lately. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to the NFC Championship. We're going to win it all. We're going to win it all. That not every fan base is that delusional in thinking. It's yes, we have a good team. Yes, we have a good coach. There's a lot of things aligned. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the clutch moments, if you don't perform, it doesn't fucking matter.
We got a good team with a dumbass coach. That's our problem. And a dumbass owner. Get rid of the owner and the coach. They both need to go. Jerry need to go.
The fact is, Brock Purdy was like, I said he has no intercept. Well, he almost had one. You're right. Almost. This isn't horseshoes. Almost. The fact is, on the stat sheet, he has no picks. He did not turn the ball over. And a couple of them, one bounced off of again, George Kittle's chest. And another one, Ray McLeod decided to run the wrong fucking route. It just, again, certain things, and it's weird how people react when he's doing good, when he's actually doing the things that people say he doesn't do. People are quiet as fuck. But as soon as one bad play happens, one bad play or bad game, see. So see, we told you he was a scrub. The fuck? Y'all are reaching. Y'all are absolutely reaching with that.
It's because y'all be acting like he the great. Y'all be acting like he the great hope, like he the next Joe Montana.
You know what? One can dream. One can hope, right? One can hope that we have a quarterback now that is actually worth the shit, and we can rely on to get it done. That was one thing that I could not rely. What Brock Purdy did for the game-winning drive, I would not have relied on Jimmy G. Not at all. If Jimmy G was still there, we're done. He's either going to throw a pick or he's going to hold on to it too long. He's going to get sacked. He's not going to run. He doesn't have that running capability. To be able to, that play where Brock Purdy, scrambled and almost got the first down. Jimmy doesn't do that shit. So it's like, But that's what I'm saying. Everybody defended Jimmy with their life, saying he's a winning quarterback, this, and that. But Brock Purdy, not only is he a winning quarterback, but he's actually doing like it's because of him. Like I thought that's what everybody wanted.
I guess we're gonna find out this weekend what he made of.
Right. Absolutely.
You got a very hungry Lions team that got a lot of momentum going right now.
And I told Mizzlin that 31-23, beating the Bucks. Mayfield threw an interception at that last one. I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching that game, I was like, the Detroit Lions better hope that Baker Mayfield doesn't have the ball in his hands last for a game-winning drive opportunity because he's cooking right now. Like he's hitting pretty much every throw that he can or that he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
I was giving it to him, and then he threw the Harbaugh to the Chargers. Could be that'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That would just prove even more what I said about him leaving Michigan because of the sanctions that are coming for their ass. But I had told Mizzle and Dub that out of all the teams that I would have preferred to play in the NFC Championship game, the Lions were not the team that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't know about you, and we've been talking about them since the beginning of the year. We're very high on the Detroit Lions. We picked them to win the division. We picked them to go pretty far. But is it just me, or does this team have kind of that team of destiny aura feeling around them?
Yeah, no, they do, and they, like I said, they're a hungry Lion team. They're ready to eat. It's no,
It's that's why I was looking at it going like I don't know, man. Like this team, yeah, we beat them the last time we played them, but this is NFC Championship playoff football. Again, they haven't been here since '91. This is big time for the Lions. The only thing that I had said was thank God that we're not playing at Ford Field. Like, thank God we're not playing in Detroit because that was going to be very difficult. That was going to be extremely difficult to do.
and the Lions just signed Zach Ertz too.
Yep. What's going on, Kay?
Country K in the building.
What's up, y'all?
Good.
You had pointed out with the Buccaneers and the Lions that it was coaching. Can you explain a little deep, like how were certain situations to where that's what cost you guys the game against Detroit?
Yeah, so it just came down to it. I mean, to make it very easy for people that maybe didn't see the game and stuff like that. I mean, obviously you had moments where you could have capitalized, but you just look at the box score. It went all the way. It was pretty equal all the way into the fourth quarter, and then they were outcoached. So.
What about the one thing that also got pointed out that I had seen was when Detroit took a knee, that you guys still had a timeout and could have forced them to kick a field goal to give you guys another chance. That's another coaching decision. But obviously people were not satisfied with what Todd Bowles' response to that was. And now, especially the word going around that Harbaugh is going to the Chargers. I know you wanted him in Tampa. But is Todd Bowles' time as the head coach there in Tampa Bay over with?
Sweet Lord, I wish I could discover things. But yeah, I believe so.
It's so. What is it about him? What is it about is it the just not able to understand what he has? Like, what is it about him being a head coach that's just not fitting?
Probably too much to describe on one show.
But it's just it's like I said with Baker, I had given him props. I thought he was gonna pull it off. Mike Evans, that catch that he had where he was falling down and just stuck his hands out and snagged that shot. I was like, good Lord. He had 8 receptions for 147 yards and a touchdown. Gibbs was playing really well. 9 carries, 74 yards and a touchdown. Jared Goff is now probably going to be immortalized there in Detroit. I think him and Dan Campbell might have a statue built after that. At some point.
A win in 2 playoff games.
When you're a franchise that has been around enough to go 0-16 and just be absolute hot garbage in the NFC for a long time.
It's a good joke, but no. Like, it's good for like trying to be ribbing and stuff, but no, that don't make sense at all.
Now, if they win the Super Bowl, they're definitely getting a statue.
I mean, every team does that when they win the Super Bowl.
Every team? I think only the Eagles have ever put a statue of a Super Bowl moment.
No, we have a statue in Tampa with John Gruden and them boys. And as soon as you walk into the Avient Arena, I mean Avient Health.
Yeah, but when did that go up?
That's been there.
That's been there since. Or I was about to say,
won in 2002. That shit's been there a while. It's been there a while. That's firstly, and then you guys have trophies. I mean, statues and shit too, to immortalize. Like, every team has statues to immortalize their thing. Is it just more of the size, or is it just is everybody immortalize their thing in every which way when they win? It's just all about how they do it. Most teams do statues. I say 99% of the teams do statues.
We don't really have very many statues of like we present, like, display the trophies.
Them all dusty ass trophies. They dusty. They need to polish them bitches. Last time I seen them, they was dusty.
Somebody got to get in there and actually put the shine back on it a little bit. A little bit. Put the breath on it real quick. But hey, since we have you here now, or actually, real quick before we get into further conversation on this, here's a quick message from our friends over at Raise.
What's up, JAFFO Army? JP here of the All-Pro JAFFOs, bringing you a message from our proud partners over at Raise Energy. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring the consumer a powerful yet sustained energetic experience to help us put your workouts and focus in general to the very next level. Perfect for anyone at any time. Raise Energy has become the most popular, the best rated energy drink on the market to date, with a phenomenal flavor profile that puts most of the competitors just downright to shame. Powered by the enhanced Refresh technology, Raise Energy delivers with a performance-enhancing energy drink profile that aids in the most often overlooked categories, which include targeted focus, enhanced recovery time, as glycogen becomes depleted, improve clean energy levels, boost in stamina, and in hydration. Most importantly, each can of Rays has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. You should not have to drink or settle for any other energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, opt for the smart choice with the #1 fan-voted energy drink on the planet with Rays Energy Drink. Use the promo code ALPHARAYS at checkout to get 15% off of your order. Demand more. Join the Rays Rebellion. Let them know the JAFFOs sent you.
For Raise Energy, go to repsports.com. That's reppsports.com and use the promo code ALPHARAYS for 15% off. And I am absolutely tripping. Dub, thank you for correcting me. We have a fucking museum. I completely forgot about the museum that the 49ers have at their state.
Yeah, so here's the
thing. They have a fucking museum.
Yeah, like I said, teams are gonna celebrate their wins. That's every team. Like,
so then why would this be any different for the Lions?
Because it doesn't make sense to what you're saying. You're putting too much on the situation for the simple fact of you're going off of the history of recent years. Yeah, they weren't good that long, so we need to celebrate that they did. No. If we would have did that shit, if we ain't been in the playoffs 13 years when we had Brady and we just beat the doggone the Washington Commanders, we would have never won the Super Bowl because that's the first team we beat. We would have never won the Super Bowl if we just celebrate that we beat the Commanders. Like, no, that don't even make sense. Like, so yeah, don't celebrate that shit. Win the game, which they're not, but whatever.
You don't think the Lions are gonna win?
The Super Bowl? No.
Oh, NFC Championship? Yes, but the Super Bowl, no?
I mean, I've said that multiple times. Y'all choke every fucking time around the same time. It's not like it's going to be anything different. I'm not rocking with that. Oh, if we had a quarterback shit. Like, y'all could have had a quarterback. Y'all chose not to have a quarterback. So.
See, this is why I'm trying to understand the whole how we don't have a quarterback. This is where I'm still.
Well, here's my problem. I'm continuously not understand where people is getting the fact of you looking at stats. You go look at he threw this amount of yards. Okay, so when he has to show that he's an actual quarterback, when you have situations, why hasn't he shown that?
He did that.
When did he show that? When Deebo Samuel was out and he had to just throw to everybody else. When did he show that? All right, like I said, I feel you, but I don't.
You saying that tells me you I don't think you watched the game.
What game do I need to watch? When y'all had that 3-game losing streak, Deebo was out and y'all didn't do shit.
We're still talking about we're talking about a 3-game fucking losing streak that happened at the beginning of the year. I'm trying to tell you what happened in the divisional round.
Oh my gosh. All right, so tell me what happened. Tell me what happened in divisional round. Y'all played the Packers and you motherfuckers almost lost to a defense that weren't that good.
We're not going to talk about the throw that he made. We're not going to talk about the on-the-run throw that he made to Kittle for the touchdown.
Oh my God, that was amazing against
the game-winning drive that he led them all the way down the field to get the game-winning touchdown. We're not going to talk about any of that. We're act like that didn't happen, or that's just kind of by the wayside shit that he did.
Oh my God, what praise should I give him when you struggled against a team that barely made the playoffs? Oh my God. What praise do I give him? You struggled. You had to have a last-second situation. If Greenlaw doesn't intercept that ball, you motherfuckers
just moving the goalpost.
Oh my God.
It's okay. The whole thing with this conversation is when other people make this argument, I just say the hater. At least K is actually
good of a quarterback. Y'all offense that fucking prolific. Why y'all
Just
go get some
automatic? He's
mid-tier
already
defense?
said that he's a hater, so this is acceptable from him.
No,
so.
you said I'm a hater because again, this your team, and I'm saying real shit that you
No, I
don't
was
playing.
giving
How
you
am I a
shit,
hater
you
when I'm
gave
saying
me
some real
nothing.
shit?
You
If
gave
he's
me
a guy,
nothing.
why that guy did not chop that
You gave me
motherfucking
nothing
mid-tier
but
defense up?
repetitive answers that you've been saying all year. You have not been acknowledging the actual
No, I have
good
not.
shit
You
that has
said
been
let's
going
put
on.
it to the divisional round. I
You
talked about
haven't
the Green Bay
acknowledged
Packers
any
right
of the
now.
good shit
The
that he's
Green
done. You've
Bay
only
Packers. That is
focused
the
on that
team I
3-game
talked
stretch
about.
the entire
First, I
time
talked
you
about the
ever
season.
have
I
argued
talked about the season, and then now when you said let's just talk about the divisional, I get to the divisional. Now you're flipping, talking about what I said before. No, I'm talking about right now. This last
I'm
game
saying
y'all
that's
played.
your only argument anytime
That's
you
only
talk about the
again.
team
I
and
went
what
to the
Brock
whole
Purdy's done.
year. I went to the
You
whole
went to
year,
talk
and then
about
I
the
gave you
3-game
one
stretch
argument, which is
before.
the exact same argument. This motherfucker ain't good like that.
You're
He
the
ain't.
one who brought up
He
the
ain't.
3-game stretch. What are you talking
Yes.
about?
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna let you finish your shit, and so I can explain what you just said. You went to me talking about the season, right? You just said that right now.
Started talking about the season.
Matter of fact, the very first thing you said was, "Let's just talk about the divisional." I said, "Okay." When I brought up the 3-game streak and all that shit, y'all said, "Okay, we can talk about the divisional." When I got it straight to Green Bay, you flipped it again. No. Green Bay, y'all struggled with Green Bay, and I said Greenlaw had the last second pick. If he didn't get that last second pick, y'all motherfuckers was gonna lose. Simple and plain. That's what I said. He struggled against the
what if?
barely made the playoffs.
I told you this.
What
right?
are we talking about here?
Remember?
Jordan Love had an amazing game.
What if?
Fucking Brock Purdy doesn't go against Jordan Love. He goes against that defense, that mid-tier motherfucking defense, that mid-tier defense that's been there all season. Come on. Y'all motherfuckers trash. Your team is a regular season.
What ifs, bro?
Congratulations. Ain't no what ifs.
Y'all
ain't won shit in 30 years, and your team has always been like
that's
this.
it.
Y'all get
That's all you're
boosted up.
living off of. What if?
What if or what? I'm literally talking about right now.
What if they did that? Well, if they would have done this, then this would have been different. Oh, that argument is so fucking tired. So fucking tired.
It's not. You're just a Niner fan that don't want to hear the truth. You're just it. You don't want to hear the truth. That's it. You keep trying to fucking diminish my argument by trying to make shit jovial. No, the simple point is Brock Purdy didn't do a goddamn thing to separate y'all from the Green Bay Packers at all. The motherfucker almost lost the goddamn game. That ain't no what if situation. He did. He did. He did. Almost. What do you mean? He almost lost the game. He almost lost the game. The Packers was up. I had to score last second shit. They had a possession. Your defense saved your ass.
Right?
The defense won that game. Brock Purdy did not win that game. What are you talking about? Because the defense saved you. Your offense did nothing to win that game. Your defense saved your ass. You're not listening. You just keep trying to talk over me.
Hey, you're talking about nothing. That's why I'm not.
All right,
listening.
Yep. I'm talking about nothing on a football show. Talking football. That's what I'm doing.
That's why I'm not listening to it.
I understand. You never will because it's your team. If it's another team, then you would understand.
That argument is also bullshit.
You are the one that has a team bias that you're not willing to separate. Simple and plain. I feel you. Because you want the Niners to win so goddamn bad. Them 30 years been agonizing for you, fam. I feel you. I feel you. My team only won 2 Super Bowls. So I feel what you're talking about. We ain't got that much of a long history of being good. So I feel where you're coming from. All them years we had Jameis Winston and Josh Freeman, I was agonizing and fucking madness too. I feel you, bro. But realistically, you want Brock Purdy to pan out so fucking bad. You just closing your eyes and being like, long as we win, I'm good. No, Brock Purdy's fucking trash out there. And you gotta have Christian McCaffrey go do some godly shit, or Debo Samuel, you gotta fucking stiff arm 45 motherfuckers and then do some fucking 135 yards just to get y'all the game because Brock Purdy inadequacies. Like I feel nothing.
You're not willing to hear anybody else's argument but your own.
Open. Y'all fucking scheming motherfuckers open. That's what it is. Your
the facts of everything that happened, but you're not going to hear it or see it.
I feel you. I feel you. Again, like I'm saying, you don't want to hear this shit.
Like, oh, it's your team.
You don't. Hey, look. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about this whole shit? I haven't brought up Cam Newton once. Cam said the same shit. This motherfucker won an MVP, but I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
By the way,
don't know what I'm talking about. I've been saying this shit since before Cam said that he was a game manager. I've been saying this same shit before Cam said these motherfuckers was game managers. The exact same thing. but I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've been saying this from the mountaintop since y'all had this motherfucker. He is not that
And you're
good,
just like
bro.
the talking heads. You're gonna die on that hill because you're wrong.
No one's dying
You're
on no hill.
wrong.
The only people that been saying this shit was me and Cam, bro. Everybody else been on the fucking Niners nuts. They've been, the Niners are the
And
team.
just like everybody
They've been
else,
saying
y'all
that
are
shit for the
wrong.
last 5 years, and y'all motherfuckers
Okay,
been
Cam.
choking off the same
It's
place
okay to be
every
wrong
year.
sometimes. It's
You're
okay
right,
to be
Josh.
wrong
Be
sometimes.
wrong. You've been wrong since y'all.
I have literally given you every fact, everything that has gone on, everything that he has done,
Right.
everything that's gone on throughout the season. But all you harp on
So
is the same 3-game stretch. And everybody gets
no,
carried
I
by
told you this the
everybody
year
else and
before.
all this other kind of
I
system.
told you this the
You
year
make the
before.
same fucking arguments that everybody
He
else
was a
does.
rookie, and he
But
was
when
on
he
that roll.
does something that
saying this shit.
hey, well, he's not this because he hasn't done anything. But when he does do something, again, you move the fucking
What
goalpost
has he done?
because you want to continue to die on
What are
this
we?
fucking hill. That's
What
where you're
hill?
wrong, Kay.
What has he
That's where you're
done?
wrong.
Are we gonna crown him champion for 17
Nobody's
regular season
crowning him
games?
anything,
What
Kay.
again?
Nobody's
You're making it seem like
that's
he's
the other
done
thing that
something.
you're trying.
You're
You don't
insinuating
see.
that he's done something.
Nobody's crowning him anything.
You
But he's
you
not
are, because you're
acting like he's
insinuating that he's
thinking
done
it.
something. You said once he's done something.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
yeah, he ain't done shit. What has he done? He's played regular season games. That's what he's done.
Okay.
He got hurt last season, but I was saying this same shit last season. I was saying the same shit.
And I was
You
telling
talking,
you
I'm not harping on nothing. I'm looking at what
watching?
the fuck Buddy doing, and I'm like,
What
well,
are
these
you
motherfuckers
watching?
ain't doing shit.
Your whole thing
Oh
is
my
unless
God.
anybody's
Hey,
holding up
look,
a
bro.
trophy,
I'm not
your
sitting on
argument.
the edge of
Unless
my
they're
chair
holding
with
up the
fucking
trophy, they're
goddamn
not shit.
Niner gear on, bro.
That's
I'm
your
not saying
argument.
gang bang
That's
Niner
always
gang
been
and
your
shit like
argument.
that. Like
If
I'm
they're
not
holding
doing
up
all
the
that
trophy,
weird
they ain't
ass shit and not looking at this shit from an unbiased perspective. That's what I'm saying to you. Y'all slander.
Again, you're not going to hear it. You're not going to hear it.
Look, y'all slander a motherfucker
You
that
never
took y'all to the
have.
Super Bowl, but then this motherfucker ain't did shit. Y'all want to crown him. Like, this the shit I'm talking about. Simple and plain. I've been showing this shit the whole time. Buddy inaccuracies is glaring too.
You're wrong.
His inaccuracies was glaring too. I get it.
You're
like
wrong.
You don't like a person, and that's what it is. You don't like Jimmy, so that's what it was. Jimmy took his all Super Bowl, and y'all slashed him.
For the team.
That's what it is.
You got blind rage.
I've been saying the same shit.
I get
like
it.
I've not changed sentiment. I've not changed stance. I've been saying the exact.
I understand you haven't changed. You've always been a hater. That's why your arguments are
all right. I'll only be a hater to a motherfucker that loves that team. That's your team, so I'm a hater because I don't agree with you. I'm a hater because I'm not on the rest of the media bandwagon stand. The Niners are shooing for the Super Bowl when you're not. When you're not that good, when you got a whole all-star defense and you fucking relying on motherfuckers that just a couple motherfuckers. Brent Warner's good. Greenlaw's good. I said that.
You're holding
but
up
that
a trophy.
motherfucking D-line is the motherfuckers is okay at best. At best, okay. Y'all don't got all these motherfucking big names and shit, and y'all ain't fucking doing shit like that. It's not a shutdown situation.
Hey, Baker Mayfield
had no shutdown game.
Shit, so hey,
again, so now here it is. Now you want to make it seem like I'm supposed to jump on the shit because you mentioned Baker. No, I'm still on your Niners.
I'm just saying.
Your Niners ain't like that. I don't care. Talk about Baker. That's your rivalry with Oklahoma.
That's what it means.
I don't give a shit about that. I'm talking about your Niners and your Niners only.
Right.
Like, it ain't got nothing to do about hatred. My problem is, I'm not supposed to say nothing because you believe I'm a hater of the Niners. I said I don't like the Niners fans. That don't mean I'm not a football player. That don't mean I can't critique football. That don't mean I can't fucking keep it 100.
You're not hearing.
So my thing is, if I'm such a hater, where's y'all fucking Super Bowl in the last 30 years? If
you
I'm
were
such a hater, y'all had all these good teams under Shanahan. Where's y'all Super Bowl? If I'm such a motherfucking hater, I'm trying to figure out
questions when I'm trying to answer your question.
Bro, you've been talking over me the entire time I've been talking. Don't try that shit
You've been going around in a fucking circle. That's why.
So you're gonna excuse you cutting me off to fucking cut me off again? All right, go ahead, bro. I'm gonna mute it.
You've been saying the same shit.
The floor is yours, G. The floor is yours, G.
I have been telling you everything that has been going on and why they've been going what they've got. Nobody's crowning them. And by your logic, because they haven't won shit, they ain't shit. So by that logic, unless somebody's holding up a trophy at the end of the year,
you can't say by my logic if you haven't heard everything I'm saying. You can't try to minimize what I'm saying to a fragment of 4 or 5 words. That's not what I'm saying. That's what you're trying to say I'm saying. So get your points out, and then I'll get my points out. And then that's how we have a debate or a conversation like we're about to have in about 8 minutes with Rob and Derek. It's the exact same thing, bro. It's a debate, bro. That's what we was having right now. The problem is you were talking over me, so I couldn't get my points out because you're making it seem like I'm spewing bullshit to your team. So go ahead, get your points out. I will mute the mic.
Your point is
say whatever you want to say, G. But realistically, like I said to you, I've been right about your team the whole fucking time. I've been saying the exact same thing the whole fucking time. Last year, y'all made an excuse. If we had Purdy, but don't go sign Cam Newton. Like, again, y'all make up the most motherfucking excuses to not win. Congratulations for fucking playing yourself in front of all of America, and America's on y'all side because they looking at these motherfuckers on paper and trying to crown y'all fucking early champions like they do every year, the last 5 to 7 years. They've been doing that shit with y'all. So congratulations, man. Y'all got that. But realistically, I'm speaking from football's perspective. You can say whatever what you want about me being a hater. I said I hate y'all fans, not your team. I can critique your team. I hate your fans. That's a difference. Just like I hate Cowboys fans, but I'm cool with Matt Six and I critique his team as such. Like, come on, dog.
But that's the thing, Kay. When I give you an answer to your questions and I give you the physical proof and the stats, not just the stats, but the actual moments of things that happen, that's still that's like it doesn't.
No, don't try to make it seem like I'm delusional. I said the exact same shit, and you just was like, "Oh no." I'm like, bro, you talking about early in the season. You diminish it saying it's early in the year. So none of that means shit that you was in the same offense the year before. You can't have the same rookie mistakes when you was in the offense the year before and you was fucking on this slate to being an MVP and all this shit. You understood the offense. Y'all had the whole same team on offense last season. Like, I ain't going for that shit. If Brandon Ayuk's supposed to be so good, if George Kittle is amazing, I'll give him that. Debo is amazing. CMC is amazing. But all these other motherfuckers out there, they supposed to be so good. They supposed to be helping Brock Purdy, right? So what's going on? Why can't y'all produce without, if we don't have Trent, we can't do shit. But y'all didn't understand that same logic when I was saying this shit last year about Brady not having a whole offensive line. Our whole offensive line was hurt the year before. Nobody understood that shit. I'm supposed to understand that one left tackle gone, y'all whole offense is stopped. Yo, one nigga gone out of 5, and y'all supposed to stop this shit. No, there is no cohesiveness as an offensive line. Nobody on that line supposed. They not a unit. It's just Trent. It's just Trent blocking 4-5 motherfuckers. Hell no.
Mastics, he's talking about the fans that he's been talking to. He's not talking about me because I've been agreeing with what I understood because your offensive line was depleted the way it was. That's why it was going where it was. I agreed with you on that. That's what I'm saying. I think you're talking about an argument that you had with somebody else.
Again, stop trying to make it seem like I'm not on point with what I'm saying. I'm saying the exact thing of what I'm saying. I'm telling you what I'm saying. Point blank, period. You want credit for the Niners fucking goddamn coloring within the lines. That's all you want credit for. He ain't done shit yet. He ain't won no games. He ain't won no meaningful fucking games. He has not. He hasn't. That's what the reality is. He can do whatever the fuck he want to do in the regular season, but he ain't won shit. Simple. He ain't beat no fucking body. And on top of that, y'all had easy fucking seasons. You know that. Y'all record, y'all season fucking goddamn strip schedule have been trash. It's been fucking easy as hell, cakewalk type shit. Like even this year, those games y'all lost was easy ass teams if you really look at it in comparison to how they put y'all up. Y'all supposed to beat the Browns with no running back and no quarterback. Simple and motherfucking plain. Y'all supposed to beat the Jaguars. They was beat the shit. Y'all was supposed to beat the goddamn Texans. Y'all was supposed to beat a whole bunch of them teams. Like y'all supposed to beat a bunch of motherfuckers and y'all struggled. Even this team y'all just played, Green Bay, barely made the playoffs. Y'all struggled. Purdy ain't doing shit. Where's y'all moments where y'all supposed to be this great team? Where are y'all beating a motherfucker ass? Where's y'all separating yourself? Where y'all know the offense is dominating? Where are y'all doing that in the playoffs? Where are y'all doing that shit? You want regular season game credit? No, you ain't do that against Green Bay. That's the only game y'all played this year in the playoffs. You haven't done it. You struggled. Y'all motherfuckers barely won. It was a naked SpongeBob moment. Like, come on.
And this is what I meant, Kay, about I can tell you everything that's actually going on, but you're not willing to see it. You just asked, give me proof where they've done something. I told you what they just did with the game-winning drive. Again, I never said Brock Purdy had a great game up until that point. But when it came down to clutch time to get him down the field, yes, CMC was the one who scored the final touchdown. But up until that point, everything that happened was because of Brock Purdy making the throws and the plays that he needed to make to get them there. That was my put. But no, that's still not enough because, again, you're still asking the same fucking question. Give me a time where they did this.
Because you're not understanding that wasn't Purdy. That was Shanahan.
I do understand.
That was Shanahan. That wasn't Purdy.
Y'all should have smacked the Packers.
That wasn't Shanahan. That was Shanahan. That wasn't Purdy. That was Shanahan. That was Shanahan. It wasn't Purdy. Shanahan schemed.
Okay. So play call.
Bro, so you mean to tell me he's having moments, he's having Aaron Rodgers, moments where he's throwing a motherfucker open. He's having early Tom Brady or early Peyton Manning where he's throwing a motherfucker open. You've seen that from him. Not saying in those echelon, on the same echelons or the same status. I'm saying that ability that he's throwing a motherfucker open. You've seen that? You a Niner fan.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have, actually. As a matter of fact, on multiple occasions. Again, you haven't been watching nearly enough to be able to make these comments, yet you are. That's why I'm saying I'm not really listening to what you're saying because you don't know what's actually fucking going on.
Unless you have a streaming service, you have to watch the Niner games out this bitch, bro. That's what's happening out here. You know that. Unless you got a streaming service, you got to watch Niner games, bro. You log into anything, KTVU, NBC, some old shit, you gotta watch that shit.
People don't have cable?
Bro, if you got cable and all that shit, you logging into the shit on your computer, they still want you to get the streaming shit. Yes, I have a cable direct TV service shit and all that. My thing is, I'm trying to get you to understand. I couldn't even watch my goddamn game, bro. That's why I haven't said much on my divisional game because I had to fucking watch the game cast because the motherfucker had to have a streaming service. I had cable.
There was only one game that was required for you to get Peacock, and it wasn't even your game or the Niner game.
So you gonna tell me I wasn't trying to log into my motherfucking Bucks game against Detroit Sunday, bro? Like you really gonna try to tell me that shit right now? I'm literally telling you what happened, and you gonna sit here and tell me what's required.
How is it not on like the cable TV? You were saying going.
Bro, why are you asking me like I'm a programmer? I'm telling you what happened. Simple and plain. But it's 10 o'clock though. We got to move
on. Before we get into the great debate, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you guys have all been waiting for. Here's a quick message from our friends over at Bud Love.
What if I told you that Bud gets better? Introducing Bud Love, the long-awaited herbal blend that's designed to be mixed with your favorite bud and enjoyed together, like the mixer in a cocktail. Bud Love is made from marshmallow leaf, an ancient medicinal herb, the mother cannabinoid, CBG, and rich natural flavors, including terpenes. Offering a wide variety of premium Herbal Plus mixers to complement your favorite strains. Why? Because every bud needs some love. Our carefully formulated blends improve your experience, complementing your favorite flower and bringing out its best qualities. Many bud lovers even report that it helps reduce unwanted side effects like worry, and instead creates a happy, zen feeling. Bud Love contains no cannabis or nicotine. It won't give you a buzz on its own, but when consumed together, it reduces the amount of bud needed to get the feeling you love, allowing your precious flower to last even longer. Bud Love is best enjoyed with your first bud of the day, carefully paired with your favorite strain. Choose from a variety of delicious flavors, ranging from classic to more fruity to natural, as well as tobacco flavored for those who enjoy a spliff. Mix Bud Love and flower in whatever amounts work best for you for a perfect buzz. Whether you're chilling with friends, attending a social event, or going for a hike, experiment and find your own love ratio. Bud Love's unique blends allow you to craft a happier, smoother, and more personalized experience. If you love Bud, then Bud Love is for you. Try it today and help us tell the world that Bud does in fact get better with Bud Love.
Go to budlove.com, use the promo code JAFFOARMY for 15% off your order. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. The great debate, the East versus West, because, you know, the East talks, the West talks. It's finally time to bring them together to have the discussion. Who is the best in the A7FL? Representing the West, Derek Suglight Duncan, the owner of the A7FL West, and representing the East, none other than Big Rob Fabien, future A7FL Hall of Famer, multi-time A7FL champion. Fellas, how are we doing this morning?
Great, man. Thanks for having me. I'm so looking forward to this. And before we get started, I just want to say with the Bud Love commercial, Rob, Bud, love you.
Appreciate you, Derek. It was only going to be you. We knew that, though. I told Josh from like the jump when he had this idea. I said, "There's only one person that's going to do this. Only one." And we knew.
No, there's a couple of the cats who would have done it, but you know, my understanding of the East goes deeper than everyone else because I've been out there, been there firsthand, have some deep conversations with Corey and you, and I kind of get the flavor and have a better understanding than everybody else out west. I think, from my opinion, I still don't know it as well as you, obviously, but I think I'm the best to represent it based on that. So that's why I agree.
I definitely agree.
And this is exactly why we needed to bring you two together, because, I mean, we could always have Corey, but he's been taking a licking. He needs to kind of sit down for a quick second. And like Corey said, like the big brother that Big Rob is, had to kind of step in and have these discussions. Gentlemen, again, appreciate you guys for being on the show in the first place to have this discussion. Basically just to kind of settle, not so much as settle it, because we obviously have the spring season coming March 24th, the 10th season of the A7FL. Everybody check that out. It's going to be the biggest season yet, but getting, you know, towards the end of the fall brawl where the playoffs just got started. Throughout this entire time, one key issue in this debate has been the concept of a super team. Okay. What makes, you know, Rob, what makes or I should actually ask Derek this, what makes the BIC a super team and the Insomniacs not? And Rob, you're, you know, kind of rebuttal the same thing when it comes to super teams.
Look, am I the only person that's getting the repeat intro of the "It's Time" over and over again, or is everyone else hearing that?
No, I don't hear it.
I don't hear it.
Don't worry about it. I'll fight through it. So, Rob and I have had this discussion at length and kind of came to an understanding and agreement on what I thought a super team was versus what he thought a super team was. And at the end of the day, I just conceded and we kind of let it go to end that discussion. But the discussion is kept on. So, in my mind, a super team is aching back to LeBron James grabbing the guys who are already in the NBA and saying, I'm taking my team and my guys down here to join with this other team that's already well established and going to. I'm sorry.
I would say you're good. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm taking me and a bunch of guys that I'm going to recruit, and we're going over this well-established, already existing team that is already a playoff team, and making them the best absolute team that you could possibly imagine on paper, and creating what we would call a super team. And when you ask what the difference is between the BIC and the Insomniacs, well, the Insomniacs were an amalgamation of a bunch of guys who were already playing ball together. The previous iteration of the Insomniacs had none of these guys on it. There were 7 guys that had A7 experience. They all came together on one squad, but it was not the best that even Vegas has to offer. There's still a bunch of great guys that are obviously playing in the Vegas division and giving them comp as you're seeing in the fall. I think the challenge that we have and what the
Derek,
is they saw the fall brawl.
You cut out for a second.
Every time I get a phone call, it starts doing that crap. So, yeah.
All good.
So ultimately, the difference is This wasn't two established teams taking the best they had from both teams, coming together and making a team to dominate everybody in the division, right? This was just a bunch of guys who are already playing together, who already knew each other, were already friends, to say, let's take this team and take it A7 and see how we do.
And Rob?
Yeah. First thing I want to rebuttal immediately is Derek Insomniacs having comp in the fall. Please. The only problem with the Insomniacs right now is they suck as a first half team because and that happened in the chip too. So it's not like it's something new. The Insomniacs are just not a great first half team. So yes, against the Alienators, what was it, 2 nights ago? Yeah, the Alienators look good for a half, but then the Insomniacs do what the Insomniacs do. They wear you down and they get the job done. It was a blowout. So nah, I don't think they're facing any comp in the fall. The concept of a super team, yes, came from the idea of what LeBron James he did when he went to Miami. But the point that everyone's missing is you keep saying that it was only a few people that played A7, but who were those people that you grabbed that played A7, that had any A7 experience? And since we're talking about Vegas, and we can all agree, fall counts in Vegas. No matter how many times I say it doesn't, fall counts, right? I'm going to get y'all. I'm going to get y'all.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish because you interrupted me.
My bad. Hold on.
Counts. And if I'm wrong, you tell me who I'm missing, right? You had Scooter Hamilton. You had RTC, Trey Robinson, and Anthony Smith. Those 4 players by themselves were probably some of the better players we've seen in the fall, right? And if I'm not mistaken, 3 of those players were in the fall championship. So those 4 players came from 3 different teams. And then it's not to say that, okay, you guys didn't go grab talent. Sure. But when you go and grab talent with those 3 at the helm, RTC he's an elite running back. He's high level. He's probably the best running back in the league right now. Who wouldn't want to play with that guy? You get what I'm saying? So bringing those 4 guys along with that type of A7 FL experience, and we even said it on the pod, but what I realized is when we had this conversation, it was off the record. And the conversation was, what would it look like if RTC and Anthony Smith and Trey Robinson were on the same team? And what ended up happening is exactly that. And then you guys won a championship. BIC, the argument for BIC not being a super team is BIC didn't actually pull any players from any other teams. BIC went out to recruit actual guys who've never played A7 FL before. Ashanti's first team was BIC. Sterry Condriton's first team, BIC. Kason Campbell, BIC. A lot of these guys that you're seeing, when their recruitment process is elite. So yeah, but the stars that we're talking about most of the time, those guys' first team was BIC. So it's very hard for me to not see what you guys don't see about the Insomniacs being the best of what Vegas currently has to offer if you guys pretty much washed the entire league. No one stood a chance against you guys. That's why I don't entertain the conversations about sick with it. I don't care. I don't care. They are just not good enough. And it's not even where you see a team like BIC, then they go against the U and they might lose, or it might be a good game. There is no way in hell I see the Insomniacs playing and I'm betting on the team that they're going against. Why would I do that? Who on the planet thinks the Insomniacs are going to lose a game until the playoffs or the championship of next spring? So by default and by the actual definition of what a super team is, the Insomniacs are a super team.
All right. So thank you for stepping right into my trap, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this morning in the shower. So our fall is our practice season, right? Fortunately for Vegas, we have a relationship with Fox, and they decided they wanted to put our game on TV. So we decided to make it way more important than just what a practice season would be. But what you have is guys like Sunday, the Insomniacs trying out a bunch of different people at a bunch of different positions, just out there having fun because they don't really need the practice, but they got a bunch of new talent that they brought in from even last season that they are putting together. So the amalgamation that you're talking about of a super team was 2 fall teams of our practice season. Scooter, who you said wasn't the best quarterback on the Kryptonite that season. You thought Darnell was the better quarterback and couldn't even understand why Scooter was the starter for the Insomniacs in game 1. Like, why are you starting Scooter when you got Trey Robinson on the team? So there's a lot of those conversations that have been had about the fall. But if it was a super team from the fall, why isn't KJ Burrell on the Insomniacs? Why isn't Lavish T on the Insomniacs? Why those guys the guys who stood out in fall brawl, Packer, who stood out in fall brawl, the guys that were the best guys on the field that day, that actually won that game, and the pit bosses that you guys were talking about were a legit comp team that you thought could really give the East a run, by your own words, during the fall before they changed. Our pit bosses team basically became the Insomniacs, add RTC, add Scooter. Now, the other part of that, when we're talking about super teams, I'm not saying the BSC was a super team last year. Never would have said that. Wouldn't have said the BSC was a super team the year before that. I say they're a super team now, after the recruiting that they've done, and went and got the best comp, the guys that they couldn't get past, took the best players off their team and put off the team that they couldn't beat, and now brought them over to their team. That is what I call a super team. That's my argument. Not BIC last year, BIC for the spring of 24.
Who did BIC go get that they couldn't beat from a team they couldn't beat? They only lost to one team.
Well, I'm calling them the crawlers in Christ now. They got Deontay Anderson. They got Mark Bagway that they brought over, and two guys from the U.
The 2 guys but BIC and the U have been trading players for years. No, so we can call it that, right? BIC and the U have been. I was on BIC, won a championship. I finished my career on the U, won a championship. So it's not as if that's like a foreign thing. That's not foreign. That's kind of, listen, when you're on a good team, as good as BIC was, what the hell? You think I'm gonna go to Snow Tribe to finish my career? Hell no. I'm not Corey. I'm going to another team that I know can compete on a high level. I'm not going to no bum ass team. So no, it's gonna always be unilateral. The same way BIC got a couple of players from the U, a couple of BIC guys went to the U. Burton is on the U, Jason Sisson is on the U, and that's just 2. And there's a few more guys that are over there. So it's not like it's a unilateral thing. They do that all the time. Cool. Mark Bagway and Henderson are probably not going to play many regular season games, guys. BIC
won't count.
It really won't. It just I don't necessarily like to pick up. I'm kind of on record saying I don't understand why pick up Bagway. I don't necessarily understand why pick up Henderson. What's the point if you play 7 games and they're not a part of it? If you're undefeated for 7 games and they have nothing to do with it, how does that make you a super team? You get what I'm saying? There's no super team in that aspect of it. But now again, with the Insomniacs, you named all-stars. You name a bunch of all-stars. There are all-stars on the Snow Tribe. There's one all-star on the Omegas. There are really good players on all these teams. BIC didn't pluck each of those good players and then create BIC. The U didn't pluck those good players and then create the U. That's not what's going on. That's why the only official, in my opinion, super team last year, even before we talk about the Insomniacs, was the Watchmen. Why? They were an amalgamation of 2 already high-level teams.
Exactly.
But then you kind of confirmed it by saying the Insomniacs now, last season, were the best parts of the pit bosses with the best running back in the league. You guys added an offensive lineman who, again, nobody knew about, but he's an all-star lineman.
For sure.
But his first team was Insomniacs. He's an Insomniac forever. He's not part of the super team equation. But Scooter back there, and we just named him the best quarterback in the league. How does RTC, the best running back in the league, Scooter, the best quarterback in the league, Trey Robinson, the best reliever in the league? Because guess what? If Scooter went down, Trey Robinson's going in. RTC, who for the life of me, they gave the MVP to, disappeared in the third quarter of the championship. He had negative yards. Don't believe me? Just watch. Go watch it yourself. RTC, who is the championship MVP, had negative yards in the third quarter. Who do you think they put in to save him? Trey Robinson. That's not a couch potato. Trey Robinson's not a bum. He went in there and did exactly what he was supposed to do. So, in my opinion, when you have those types of guys that again weren't even on the same team the year before, and again, I never heard fall was a practice thing for you guys. I never heard that before. This is the first time I'm hearing it because every time I say fall doesn't count, everybody tells me it does. So. Again, when we're talking Vegas, so
that's when you're talking to those cats. That's not.
Yeah, nah. You're the big dog in Vegas, so I got to tell you what your guys are saying.
100%.
Your guys are saying that fall counts. So now, if the pit bosses and the kryptonite took the best parts of those teams and then created the Insomniacs, I don't see how it's not a super team.
All right, and that's fine. The fall was scheduled to be our practice season. No one else is running fall. You can't call us for being better at organization and putting stuff together and putting our guys in the best situation and showcasing that for the world to see and growing the A7 brand. So all things equal, our fall equal to everybody else's fall. Fall don't matter in that regard because the only thing that records count for is what happens in the spring. So if you would take the conversation that it was two fall teams that came together to make the Insomniacs and you want to call it a super team, I'll concede that. That's fine. But what it was after between seasons, Insomniacs needed a refresh. James came to me and said, look, I'd like to get involved in this thing. I said, look, give it a go. And he said, all right, I'm going to put my team together under the Insomniacs brand name. And he grabbed the guys that he has the comfortability with, the guys that used to run with when they had the Cobra Kai, when they had Turtle Hawks, and the Turtle Hawks, basically. So it's amalgamation of a bunch of flag guys that play flag together, add in Kenny Mack, and now you've got, the national champion. So
and again, some veteran running back presence by RTC.
Right. So if we frame the argument, including fall, I will agree that the Insomniacs are a super team based on what fall brought together. If you will also agree that the BIC in its 2024 iteration, because they're grabbing the superstars from the Nightcrawlers, are also a super team for 2024.
Do you think BIC grabbed the best player from the Nightcrawlers?
Of course not. Logo Davis is the best player in the league.
Oh, I like Derek. Derek don't play no games. I like Derek, yo. He don't like getting caught up in no bullshit. Okay, cool.
If I'm starting a team today, Kenny Mack's my first pick.
Okay.
Logo Davis is my second if he's available. I'm sorry.
I'm not mad at that.
Logo Davis is the best skill player in the league. Kenny Mack is the most important player in the league.
There's literally no one better than Logo Davis right now. But okay, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, BIC pulling Mark Bag. If Mark Bagley plays 7 games, including playoffs and the championship, if they make it that far, BIC is 100% a super team.
Let me agree with you, but add in if he comes up for the game versus the U and he comes up for a game versus the Watchmen.
That's gonna be bad news.
He's gonna pull a big Rob and play in the games that matter and not show up for the bum ass teams. Am I wrong? And it's not just Bagway. It's Henderson. You saw
Henderson as well
against the Insomniacs. That dude is the truth.
And I would even argue with you that I thought BIC was a super team last year. But again, it's from my knowledge of who they brought on the team. I knew.
Ice Cream Truck showed up and he didn't contribute the way he did when he was with the U. And that's the only person I saw that they picked up that was going to give them that super team value. Everybody else wasn't big names like that.
Yeah, because of when you guys came into the league. Like guys like Olay and Q Bell were dominating in this league for years. But again, that's before your time. So I don't even expect you to know who those guys are. But I did consider them a super team last year. That's why I was so upset with their performance
and the thing is,
through the season.
I do know those guys and I do watch them, but I do understand the deterioration of play when a guy has been a superstar and doesn't continue to play at that level and doesn't continue to apply himself at that level. Like the Insomniacs, because of all the conversation in the East and all the conversation with Nightcrawlers, are still hungry. they really are going to put forth the effort that it's going to require when it comes to blowing out Vegas, trying to blow out the Vegas division to make sure they stay number one all year, and then what they're going to try to do to everybody in the playoffs. They are still hungry. After this season, I don't know that they'll stay that hungry because they will have proven to everybody if they were to win the championship again, y'all don't got nothing for us. And to this season, I would say that is their campaign.
Unfortunately, even though like I understand that you might think they're hungry, how hungry can you be if every week you're blowing out teams? They're going to mercy rule 80% of your league. They're not facing anyone of any substance up until week 6, if I'm not mistaken, if the schedule doesn't change.
Well, they got the force week 1, and that was a 30-7 game for them last year. That was 14-7 at halftime. But you said
I count that. They're a second half team.
Now take the force, right? They lost RTC. That is their biggest missing piece, right?
The best running back in the league.
Right, and they picked up Mondo and a couple of guys that they were sorting out at tailback last season, and they didn't really have it figured out, and they still haven't figured out exactly what's going on at quarterback with Rock and I can't think of his name right now. The dude is playing quarterback for the Alliance right now. But I would imagine that the Force are going to recruit the best players that were on the Alliance to play with the Force this season to give them that missing element that they had. So game 1, they've got a boxing match out of the box. Yes, the Insomniacs will be probably favored by 14. It's not going to be a cakewalk like some people might think. Now, you take everything that's happening in the fall right now. We've got 5-6 teams that are sitting that were 7 teams that are in there. 2 teams that are sitting on the sideline right now that are going to fill those rosters with the guys from fall that don't have teams. OTT is getting ready to stack up. The Ciclid in their existing iteration is who they are. They feel like they're only missing some plays to be against the Insomniacs. We all know that they need a little bit more dominance either at the D-line or O-line position or both to be able to get on Insomniacs level. They are as good as them at the skill level positions, except for at tailback right now. So depending on who they pick up out of the fall, maybe they got like Moncrief from the Alienators and end up on Ciclid. And then what happens? Maybe they grab another defensive lineman of the gym and not somebody that we've seen so far that's a dominant guy. You know, there's a lot because Vegas has so much visibility on what A7F is and the effort that we're going to put around the Super Bowl right now that everybody in Vegas is going to see what we're doing. I expect there's going to be another 15, 20 guys out of the woodwork that played at UNLV, played at Dixie State, played at some of these colleges right around here. Like, look, I want a part of this. That's what I'm hoping for. That's why we people visit.
And sure, right? You know, ifs and buts and all that good stuff. But
yeah, sure.
The fact still remains that the teams that are on the rock, like the teams that we know of right now, you know, whether they pick up new guys or not, they suck. They suck right now. Like right now, they suck. And this is, you know, what kind of league this is. This is a what have you done for me lately league.
For sure.
I could care less about the guy you say is coming because there's been tons of guys that are like, yo, such and such is coming. He shows up and he's poo-putt. Because again, right. A7 is a different type of monster. The spring is a different type of energy. And I'm pretty sure the Insomniacs guys that were like chilling and eating chicken nuggets on the sideline in the first half weren't even sweating the score against the Alienators, then came in and handled business. I'm pretty sure they'll tell you the same thing. Like you're actually creating the Insomniacs. Usually in the fall, the monsters don't play. The reason why the monsters don't play is because you don't want to scare the pups. Some people can't. You see that big boy? He's on Rob's radar right now. I can't pronounce his name. You know how many flag players he's scaring the daylights out of right now? You know how many people don't want to run into that? And that's what. Yeah, and that's part of the whole allure of the game, right? A guy like me sees that, I was like, oh yeah, I want to play in this league. Right. But I'm 6'3", 300 plus. Guys much smaller are gonna see that, like, oh, y'all motherfuckers crazy. Oh, I'm not playing that shit. Cool. So y'all might be scaring some folks off at the same time. Some dudes might not come back to this, right? But as it stands right now, the Insomniacs are playing no one until week 6. I'm not happy with the Force. You already told me they have a confusion at quarterback. That's the first sign of a declining team to me. The U, as good as they were, to me, weren't as good as they could have been because they had no identity at quarterback. Their run game was phenomenal because the offensive line was decent, but they had no identity at quarterback, and it cost them when it really came down to the wire. You're asking your championship team to stay hungry when they put up 40 to 50 points on everyone for 7 games straight. Then you're asking them, and again, it's an easy path. We got to, can we admit this now, Derek? The Insomniacs had a very easy path last year. Did we lose him? He didn't want to admit this?
Real quick, he'll probably get back in.
I know he'll be back. Yeah, I guess he didn't want to admit this part. I said admit it, and then Derek left.
he'll probably be back on. But I mean, this next question really kind of geared towards you, and everything that you guys are saying is gold, honestly. But Rob, despite the Insomniacs winning the championship and defeating a team in the Nightcrawlers that many say in the East thought to be elite going back to 2022, what are a few things that keep people outside of the West Coast from giving the champions the credit they feel like they deserve?
Because everybody in the East Coast, I can't say everybody, but I know a high percentage of guys would agree with me who've been in this league for a while. They know what we saw in that championship game wasn't an A7FL championship. It was a flag championship. And people don't like to admit it, and they're like, well, flag got us to the chip, and da-da-da-da. Well, flag got the Nightcrawlers to the chip, and an easy golden paved road got the Insomniacs to the chip. Because what we wanted, what we were expecting, what we were hoping for is during the Final Four or one of those playoff spots that there was a mix where we could have seen the Nightcrawlers playing either BIC or no, not BIC. The Nightcrawlers playing the Insomniacs and Watchmen playing the Ohio team, where then you cancel out because now you give them an opportunity to see a team they've never seen before. I mean, the Insomniacs destroyed, an entire division, destroyed LA, and destroyed Ohio. Who did they play? Now, the Nightcrawlers, again, I'm not faulting them for being as good as they were, but they had a similar route, right? Where the Nightcrawlers played 4 or 5 games in the regular season. If that, right? They didn't play that many games in the regular season. Derek's back?
Yeah, he's back.
Okay.
I can't hear him yet.
If you guys remember, because I see everybody likes to say, oh, Big Rob said, they like to try to use my words against me when it's convenient. But I also did say the fact that there's people in the East, the Northeast, not protesting the way the schedule is laid out is sickening to me. Because what you're really doing is letting the Northeast guys beat the shit out of each other. Then come playoff times, y'all don't have the juice to deal with a fresh Nightcrawlers team and an Insomniacs team whose biggest competition was maybe sick with it.
All right, my bad, guys. I don't know what happened there, but I'm back. My connection won't be as good, but I'm here.
You didn't want to admit what I was going to ask you, so
no, go for it. Go for it.
I had just asked him, despite winning the championship and everything, what are a few things that people from outside of the West Coast, like what do they need to do to feel like they get the credit that they deserve? And Rob was just kind of going over that right now, just to kind of be up to speed on what he was saying.
So the Nightcrawlers virtually had a very easy path. They were fresh. These guys were fresh-leg guys when they got to the playoffs. So a Watchmen team who had to face the gauntlet and go against BIC and go against the U and go against tough teams that weren't really ready to lay down. Sure, yeah, it's a lot tougher for them, and we knew that. I've said that in the beginning of the season. They kind of let the Insomniacs just walk into the chip because they didn't want to do any scramble or mixed games, East versus West in the early playoffs, because the fear was, and I understand it. I get it. I had in the back of my mind, the business part is saying, bro, how stupid would it be for the West Coast to host a championship with no West Coast teams? That's dumb. A West Coast team has to be in the chip. They have to. If it's in the West, there has to be a West Coast team there. And it couldn't have been an Ohio team. That'd have been absurd. So I get it. But the thing is, you guys played a flag team. and you guys beat a flag team that those guys are very familiar with. From what I've heard, they've been in these flag circuits and played against these guys before. So they're familiar with these guys in a way that, no, the East is not, because again, it's all flag. And with that all flag mentality, it's all offense. If you can't stop Bagley and company from scoring 51 points, then you're in trouble. If your offense is only averaging 38, you're in trouble. No matter how good your defense is, they're going to score. Can you stop them? The only way the East Coast will respect the Insomniacs, and I'm just going to tell you the honest to God truth, you got to beat one of the big dogs. And I'm not talking about Watchmen, because that ship has sailed. That is not the same team. Just take the Watchmen out of your mind. They're not part of this equation. You got to beat either BIC or the U with Huff on it. You beat one of them, and I don't care if it's a close game. I don't care if it's a guard. I don't care how it happens. If you beat one of those two teams, there will be no discussion about the validity of the Insomniacs. I don't necessarily have an issue with validating the Insomniacs. I watch them play live. I understand what it is. But again, AJ McQuaid, who's one of your favorite defensive linemen, he's never had to go against the size and power of an offensive line that, let's say, the U has. He's never had to deal with that. Guys, the Nightcrawlers didn't run the ball. They didn't have a running back. All the runs that I marked down from the Nightcrawlers came from Mark Bagway.
Right.
All of them.
Facts.
Every single one. So do you think AJ McQuaid could play 4 quarters with a guy actually blocking him, because he was unblocked 90% of the game? Holy shit. Unblocked, untouched. He was just running for his life because no one touched him, barely touched him. And then have to deal with a guy like Courage, a guy like SJ, a guy like Ice Cream Truck, who, you know, that would be a great thing to see. But there's elements of that championship game that anybody, and again, across the board, the Northeast has agreed that is one of the best, and I'm still here saying it, that's one of the best games of football I've ever watched in my motherfucking life. That's not going to change. But when we get down to, was it an A7FL championship game? It wasn't. It was a high-scoring, high-flying, head-tapping. It's what brings in ratings. It was a beautiful football game. But when you start breaking down some of the real shit, like there was no offensive line stopping AJ McQuaid. And do you understand why the Bunak blessings happened twice? Who the fuck was blocking Q? No one. No one blocking Q. Nobody. There was no one blocking. So understand things don't. If somebody's in his face, making sure, not making sure he doesn't touch the ball, making sure he doesn't get quarterback or get down, no blocking guys. Go shit. He's standing out and hey guys, hey, standing there. There's no offensive line.
Well, I mean,
inside you get it. So the inside go against the BIC with the established offensive lineman, going to stay in the pocket with AJ McQuaid for 3 seconds in them hands. That's the AJ McQuaid I want to see. If he pulls out of that, now I have the respect for him. I don't have much respect for AJ McQuaid. I didn't see anything. I've been on record saying I didn't see anything. The way everyone gassed him up, I thought he was going to have Mark Bagway on skates. Mark Bagway had AJ looking foolish more than AJ had Mark Bagway looking crazy. I've watched the game top to bottom. I wrote it down. I'm each play. I can even tell you how many 3 and outs they had and how many plays.
Right, Rob,
you know what I'm saying?
Rob, hit me with
Go
this
ahead.
one.
Yeah.
How many times did Mark Bagway roll to AJ's side?
How many times did he roll to AJ's side?
Yeah, the answer is once, and it was a sack. And every other time, he ran away from him. And every other
he didn't
time
run away from him. Running backwards, then running in the middle and having AJ and Q kiss each other in the mouth ain't running away from him now. That's not running away.
I won't
Don't change the narrative.
I won't
he cooked his ass.
I won't dispute that.
AJ was like, ha. He was dancing back there.
I'm not going to dispute that. But every time he went to his side, the one time he went to his side, he got a sack. He said, I'm not doing that again. And then
no, he did. No, that's a cap too. That's cap. I just watched it. He did run a decent one on AJ's side. He outran AJ, as a matter of fact. I need to find a play. I need to find a play.
Okay, so maybe he got him once. All right, so we'll say it's 1-to-1 because AJ got the one sack. But every other time when anybody was in the backfield, went to the left, and then tried to come back to AJ's side. They ended up throwing the Donnie Bunak kisses, as you call it, because nobody
Bunak
wants
blessings.
to give the Insomniacs credit for wearing down the Nightcrawlers and putting them in a position where they had to throw off their back foot, where they could make interceptions like that, where they made stupid throws. And
wearing down who?
Hang on. And then if someone was blocking Q, that would be an illegal lineman downfield, because both of those interceptions happened in the middle of the field, at least 5 or 7 yards down the field.
No, that's not true. One of those interceptions wasn't an interception. BME Keys caught the ball already, had an open field, did 2-3 cutbacks. No one was blocking Q, and that's down the field. These are things, because you guys said we don't watch film.
It wasn't down the field. It was they were at the goal line.
No, they were. Listen, they were within the 30. They were 30 yards in.
I think they were 7 yards. I think they were second and goal from the 7, if I'm not mistaken.
And BME Keys caught the pass and had forward progress.
Yep.
Did 2 cutbacks, like 2 jukes to the right. Saw Mark Bagway, and Q is literally standing there by himself, untouched. Lord God, no one is touching him. He pinches it, and Q is like, "Is this kid dumb?" and snatches it out the sky.
And he did that because there was nowhere for him to go.
Who? No. That's BME Keys being a fucking bum. He should have kept it. There was plenty of play. You could watch it. There was plenty of places for him to go.
There was a wall of defenders and offensive guys trying to block him over there, and he stopped. He's like, "There's no openings over there. Let me go back the other direction. Oh, there's Bagway. Let me pitch it to him." And you know what happened?
Where he could at least got a yard or two falling forward.
Sure, but
it wasn't like it was 4th down.
Okay. All right, so you're right on that one. There wasn't an illegal lineman downfield on that one if somebody was blocking him. On the very next play from scrimmage for the Nightcrawlers, it was a pass play, and had someone been blocking him downfield, it would have been a illegal lineman downfield. So that wouldn't apply to the conversation.
Because let's do it like this, right? The 5th play of that's the second drive of the second half. Second Nightcrawler drive. Oh, no, I got it written down. That's the second half, 3rd quarter. That's their second drive. Because their first drive, it was 1 play touchdown. I have this.
No, you said
first play.
You said their second play. I was like, no, because they were
not second play.
We were well into the 3rd quarter when all that went down.
It was the 5th. It was the first off. They had a touchdown taken away from a holding call. How are you holding if no one's blocking? But again, we'll leave that alone. Yeah. We watch film on this side, Derek.
Yeah.
4th play.
We as in Rob, yes.
Yes, 4th play, touchdown taken away from a holding call. Right?
Rob, just because it was that big doesn't mean you're a we.
I know. Listen, how you know what my pronouns are, bro? Listen, I'm we. Did you just assume my Listen, I am him, we, them.
My bad.
Nah, it's all good. It's all joke.
Your email signature last night.
Chill. But all jokes, right? But they took away a touchdown. The 5th play, Bagway ran for a 1st down. The 6th play, I wrote Bunak blessing. Keith with a turnover to Q.
Right.
The Insomniac's third drive on the 4th play, on 4th down, scooted to Clark.
Yep.
Holding on defense, and it was declined, extra point, no good, right?
Yep.
The 3rd drive, the 1st play, Q INT on Bagway, Bunak blessing, right?
Right.
That happens. It's not happening because there's pressure being applied. They had pressure on them the entire game. The only way you don't have pressure as a quarterback is if you have an offensive line, which they did not. They didn't have one. We can shape it and shake it up no matter how we want. The fact AJ McQuaid had 1 sack against no offensive line is insane to me, regardless of who he's playing.
And honestly, Bagway's a magician in the backfield and ran away from him more than anyone ever could. I would also tell you that Sterry has those same capabilities, right? Bagway and Sterry, for me, are virtually the same player, right? I don't know who I would take one or the over. Matter of fact, I'd probably take Sterry because I know how good he is on D, and I saw Bagway get torched for like 2 or 3 touchdowns in the championship. So, but that's where I'm at with this, right? So I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. I'm just saying that it's not applied the same way it is when we look at it, right? So if you're saying that there was no pressure, I disagree. That Bagway had 2 or 3 dudes in his face coming at him full speed and had to throw it on his back foot, and that's how it ended up floating the ball over to Q on the second interception.
No, it's all game.
Right.
I'm agreeing that he had
Sure.
pressure, but
Yeah.
it was the entire game.
Right.
It wasn't some magical thing that happened. I mean, it was some magical thing that happened, the Bunak blessing, but it wasn't as if there was an adjustment made. It was, I mean, again, it was bad play call. It was bad play calling from Bagway.
The Insomniacs chose to go with a speedier defensive end than the normal defensive end they carry on that side by putting in Q.
Q wasn't doing. You want to watch this game together? Q wasn't doing shit.
You know what? Actually, I think all of us should watch this game together.
I think so. Bagway made Q and McQuaid kiss in the backfield, bro. And then they fell.
Rob, that's fine. When you're paying someone that's your equal, they're going to beat you 50% of the time. The other 50%. Yeah. Well, look, the Insomniacs won that game, didn't they? So they had to beat. So the Insomniacs had to beat them some of the time. So when you're playing your equal, you get beat 50% of the time. That's what happens.
They weren't equals. You think they were equals?
I think they were equals. Clearly, the score was close enough that they looked that they were damn equal.
Because there was just no defense. Defense sucked on both sides. But because the AJ sack that everybody, that was the second play of the game, right?
Yeah.
Like that was the second play of the game. It wasn't even like that happened like in crunch time. That was like the second play of the game.
Absolutely. And for us, we're feeling like it set the tone, but it also gave the Nightcrawlers the idea, like, look, let's not go to that side. There's a monster over there. Let's keep it in the center or roll it right.
I mean, how much tone did it set if that first drive they scored in 4 plays, and it took you guys 11 to score? You know that, right?
Yeah, of course. Well, look, the offense of the Insomniacs is not built on quick play strikes. They have them. That's part of their offense. That's not what it's built on.
I think they are.
The game plan, which I came up and talked to you guys about this at halftime, of wearing them down, absolutely worked and put them in the position to win in the third and fourth quarter. I felt in the second quarter they could have been going to play action a hell of a lot more and didn't do play action even once in the second quarter. And
because RTC was getting his shit pushed.
But I was yelling at you guys. They're not doing play action. I don't know how we're going to win this game if they're not going to go to play action. And then what did they do? Third and fourth quarter. That's exactly what they put into place, and that's how they won the game on offense.
You think that's how they won the game?
On offense, yeah. None of those scores were on defense.
No, none of them. But it was 2 defensive plays that put you guys back in the game.
Absolutely, but none of them were pick sixes. None of them put them at the goal line where they just had to punch it in.
They put them at the 30.
They definitely put them at the 30, so they had a short field. But they scored five, 6 other touchdowns besides those 2 with the short field, right?
But the 2 with the short fields are the most important. Do you want to know why? I can tell you why right now.
They were the most important because of momentum. Because if they don't score there, game over.
But do you want to know how many plays it took you guys to score 12 points?
I'm more concerned about how many plays it took us to score 50.
Those 12 points that brought y'all back, 5 plays.
Right.
5. So you're saying they're not built to score quick, which is cat, because every ball that Scooter threw, none of them were intercepted, right? You know why? He overthrew everyone. They were all shots. They were all shots. He overthrew. It was smart.
He wasn't going to leave it short so he didn't throw a pick. 100%.
Facts. He was very smart. Scooter, listen, I said that during the championship. I think Scooter played a phenomenal game. My respect for Scooter went through the roof after not believing in him first game of the season because I just didn't understand why it would be Scooter over Trey.
Right.
Facts. But after Scooter proved himself, I didn't say anything about Trey ever again. There was nothing to say. But Scooter playing that way, all those throws were like guns. Like he was shooting.
Yeah, right.
He was shooting for the moon.
And only his receiver was going to get it.
Yep. David Clark, all those guys, Shepard, all those guys. Those are the guys who scored.
Right. Well, and I will say until Scooter started to wear down in the fourth quarter and he started leaving stuff a little short. Remember that pick that Logo had and it didn't come down with it because he fell out of bounds and hit his head? Remember the touchdown, the touchdown / interception that got called back the series before that, where both players actually possessed the ball at one time or another? I mean, Scooter started to get worn down too from all the running that he was having. Because
at that point you're in a fight, and I gotta remember this is why when the Eagles at that game, we will respect the championship, but there's facts of that game can't change who won. and the losers aren't the rules. Like, they're not stories. They're going to always facts. You're losing one player, one. And the moment that player got hurt, Logo was hurt and concussed. The moment he got hurt, game was over. He ran into a wall, then he hit his head on that a one-handed interception that really, it was debatable whether it was in and out, but it doesn't matter.
Regardless,
it happened.
He didn't survive.
He didn't survive. He didn't survive the ground. Logo being out, which is why, again, the Bagway talk is cool, but it's really Logo Davis that's the best player in this league. We can debate.
Sure.
Well, there's no debate there. I'm not debating
either.
anyone on that. Yeah,
Not for me
there's no debate. Logo Davis gets hurt at the tail end of the fourth quarter. There's absolutely nothing else they can. You guys are losing to one man. One man. That's it. So it's like, even if you got in the East watches enough film to see that, it wasn't. You guys didn't. They didn't have an offensive line. The starting quarterback and the one guy that was whooping y'all ass was playing corner too. So them boys was playing. This Scooter was getting tired in the fourth. These dudes were in the fourth quarter mentally by the second quarter. They've been playing every drive, every down. Logo got one caught on top of his head by Shup, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it Clark? I think both of them went up top on Logo at one point. But those are the two guys. You're wearing them down. How hard is it to wear down two guys that are playing both sides of the ball for a 60-minute full contact tackle football game? Yeah. You won't get that against a BIC or a U. You're not going to be able to wear them down that way.
So let me just say, if we don't, then it'll be a blowout by the Insomniacs, because I know Nightcrawler showed up with who they showed up with. But had the other guys showed up, I guarantee you Bagway and Logo still would have been playing both sides of the ball, because when your bench only goes 7 deep, but you got 40 on the team, you're still playing those 7 as much as you can.
Bagway and Logo wouldn't have flown all the way to Arizona with bums at corner. They didn't bring corners.
And they didn't. That's why they didn't. Like, why are we going to bring these guys? We know we're going to play the whole thing anyway.
Because they were a little too cocky, won 10K the day before and said, oh, we're going to sweep this shit. These dudes played a whole game the day before. We got, like, and these
so
things.
The Insomniacs. Don't take that over.
Scooter played?
No, but RTC did.
Okay. RTC did. That's why he disappeared in the third, but that's neither here nor there.
I'm going to try to get him to stop doing that shit.
But with that being said, like, if you're watching the skeleton of it, there was no offense. We got to start listening. 0 offensive line. Your defensive ends produced 1 sack. Holy shit. You guys had all your corners, all your defensive backs, couldn't stop one guy. BME Keys didn't score no touchdowns. Bagway might have scored 1, maybe? I don't think Bagway scored 1. Logo scored 5. He threw 1. He ran 1, and he's caught all the rest. So it's like,
Rob,
damn.
So let me ask the question. Where's the Logo in the East that the Insomniacs or anybody else from Vegas is going to have to contend with?
Oh, no. What you're not understanding is the East doesn't need a Logo. You guys only lost to a few guys. So when you run into the East and there's these no-name guys busting y'all ass and you're like, yo, who is this guy? Because y'all probably not going to watch enough film to know who this guy is, who that guy. It's like, yo, these guys are nice too, yeah, because everybody's been paying attention to Ashanti and Sterry and the stars, but there's studs and there's guys that are going to relieve them that are just as good. You guys almost lost to like 7 guys. And they got tired at the end and hurt. So when you have to play a full 4 quarters against a team like a solid team, I don't think y'all up for it. I don't think y'all gonna be up for the task, and that's how the East feels.
Okay, so you would argue that the Nightcrawlers, and you said it on numerous, not Nightcrawlers, excuse me, the Watchmen on numerous occasions, was the best team in the East last season. Before they made it to the Final Four, you had them as your pick.
Yeah. Well, I had BIC. You know, I had BIC from like jump. But BIC on paper was the best team in the league last year. They just couldn't get it done. But when it came to stats and what was going on, the Watchmen were the best team in the league. Yes.
All right. And you said that there was no defense played by the Nightcrawlers
against the Watchmen.
No, against Vegas. I mean, there was no defense played in the championship game.
No, not at all. No defense. No.
Okay, so why was it that the Nightcrawlers were only able to put up 46 on the Insomniacs, but they put up 60 on the best team from the East? with no.
Did you just say only 46? That's crazy.
No, I mean, in comparison, that's 2 touchdowns.
No. Yeah. The same 2 touchdowns we just said got taken away, but I digress. That's cool. Same 2 touchdowns that got taken away on top of the fact there was 2 turnovers on scoring drives. But again, I'll digress. Cool. We can say that.
I'm just saying.
I also did mention. I got you. I promise I got you.
No, hey,
I also did
mention.
mention.
You go. Let me
go
make
ahead.
this other point. You go.
Go ahead.
I was there live for the Nightcrawlers and Watchmen game. That game, the Nightcrawlers boat raced them. Like literally, they got up. It was the game was never in question. The Nightcrawlers led from start to finish and never ever even came in jeopardy of losing the game, not once. That's how much better the Nightcrawlers were than the Watchmen.
When you're fresh and played 3 games, most in your division, and then you know what I'm saying? When you only played 3 games, you're gonna have fresh legs against a team that, again, I said earlier, the Watchmen got beat up in the Northeast. There's competition here. If you're getting beat up, your guys are not going to come to the champ. You had a team damn near 100% in the championship game. On the contrary, I think one guy on your team actually got hurt when they finally faced. You don't find that interesting that the first serious injury that the Insomniacs had was during the championship? Because they played no one. That's not true.
There was a dude that showed up for the championship with a busted eye orbital from week 1.
From week 1?
Yeah.
That's the guy that got. Oh shit! I do remember that. That's a freak accident. But a football injury? Nah. I don't count freak accidents. A football injury? Nah. Like busted orbital is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. That's crazy. I'm not playing with no busted orbital.
I mean, and then you had RTC that went down and had his whole face ripped off in week 5.
Yeah, that's because they were upset that they were getting destroyed, so they had to try to kill him somehow.
Right. Well, I'm saying, look, go ahead back to your previous point, Rob. I just wanted to make sure that we understood that our framework, our frame of reference is the team we beat boat raced the best the East had to offer.
But Derek, do you like boxing at all?
I love boxing.
Beautiful. So my man, I'm talking to the right guy.
Yeah.
So you understand fighter A can beat fighter B, right? You understand that?
And I also know that fighter A is going to tailor his fight game versus the guy he's going to be fighting that day.
Nice save. But do you understand that fighter A can beat fighter B?
Absolutely.
But you understand also that fighter B can most likely beat fighter C?
Yes, unless fighter C is Floyd Mayweather and nobody can beat him.
Right. Now, do you understand that fighter C, though he can be beat by fighter B, can beat fighter A who beat fighter B? You understand that, right?
I 100% understand that.
Because styles make fights. And in the A7FL, that's how that works, because that's what happened in the East.
Yes.
Where the U beat BIC, beat the Watchmen, beat the U. It's not the U dominated BIC the entire year. BIC wouldn't get dominated like that by the Watchmen, who beat the U. Who then BIC wouldn't get dominated by the Nightcrawlers, who beat the Watchmen. Who then wouldn't get dominated by the Insomniacs, who beat the Nightcrawlers. The matchup's different. I'm not taking away from the fact that Clark and Shepard are monsters. I'm not taking that away. I'm not taking away from your offensive line, which I've been singing to the moon and back the praises for that offensive line. I'm not saying that the Insomniacs suck by far. I'm not saying that they're going to get blown out. I'm not saying anything of the sort. What I am saying is they are comfortable. They're chilling. They do not. For someone to sit down on any platform and say, oh, the East don't got nothing for us, the punch in the mouth is coming, and they're not the Nightcrawlers that are going to let you crawl back in the third quarter. That's not what the Northeast is known for.
And let me
because
say,
once
I hope you're right.
I know I'm right.
I hope you're right, because if the Insomniacs boat race an East team in a championship, it's going to look very bad for the overall league in general. And I don't personally want to see that. When they set up the playoffs the way they did, I asked them specifically to change it and make sure that the Vegas teams had to go through the East before they played the championship in the West, and had an hour and a half conversation yelling at Shinner and Ryan DePaul. You can fact check me on that.
I could agree. I could agree with that.
This is the worst thing that you could possibly ever do for this league, and it's awful because Vegas needs to earn their stripes. They don't need to be handed a championship or handed the opportunity at a championship by going to play against an Ohio division that didn't have to play anybody to end up in the Final Four. That was my complete argument. I was like, look, if you want to put us all in a Final 8 in the East, and we can fly out there and then put the championship in Vegas, however you want to do it, I'm okay with that. Presented them alternate playoff ideas that would make all those things work. But financially, they decided the way it was set up was the way that made the most sense for the league and was the most fair for all the divisions that were involved, knowing that Ohio and Florida probably wouldn't be able to beat Vegas or the Northeast. Now, I don't think they expected the Nightcrawlers to be as goddamn good as they were.
Oh, no, they did. We all did.
And for me, the reason why I say the Insomniacs are that much better in a complete team again and can beat the East is because if you look at them on film, they are the most complete team to be able to play all styles of the game. If you want to go flag, you want to go flag with the backstack and go all speed. Hang on, let me finish. You want to go flag style with the backstack and go all speed, they can match you man for man there. They might lose a notch. If you want to go in the trenches, beefy, and go trench warfare and go mano a mano, and I'm going to punch you in the mouth and push you, they've got the squad to do that too. So
where's the proof? Where's the proof of all this? Where's the proof of concept?
Well,
I just told you in the championship game.
Look, I'm going off of what the experts say, and the experts said they have the best offensive line in the league.
But the concept, the Nightcrawler, where your defensive line had blocking and only produced one sack. When you have Mac Jr. on the other side of you putting hands on you for 4 quarters, Scooter got tired in the 4th, and he had protection. What happens when they're legit defensive ends and legit offensive linemen in your face? It's not going to be the same game. So to think for some reason the Nightcrawlers, who again had no corners, had no offensive line, gave you the game of your lives, and literally y'all won it by the skin of your teeth.
Yep.
By the last second misthrow from Bagway to Logo, where Logo didn't even know where the fuck he was at the end of the game.
Where he had made the mistake of rolling to the right side and had to throw off his back foot and throw a pick.
You love saying this. You love saying this. You love saying. You know what? I'm gonna ask.
And threw off his back foot. It was a pick.
No.
Yes.
Last question. Go ahead. He's gonna pull it up real quick. He has it, Rhythm.
I cannot tell you how much I enjoy doing this with you, and I do think the next show we do is all of us watching that game together.
We have to. We have to.
Go ahead.
All right. So my question is, do you each feel your division is taking the other division lightly?
Yeah. Let me go first on this one. Yes, Vegas is taking the East entirely too lightly. I saw those monsters out there firsthand. I know what they bring to the table. It's not just physicality, it is aggression. And I will tell you, only the teams who have played against them understand what that looks like. And until you go up there and taste that cooking, you don't know how to cook it yourself. So the best thing the Insomniacs did was getting a guy like RTC on their team, getting a guy like Tone on their team to say, all right, you guys are some of the best we've seen in this division. What did they bring to the table? And the answer was physicality and aggression that just wasn't happening in Vegas at the time. Now, I will tell you, Vegas physicality and aggression has stepped up a level. I'd say we're about 85% of what the Northeast is right now. And at the upper echelon, when you have the monsters of Vegas playing against each other, you get that same level of physicality, but we don't have it across the division. Now, Rob, tell these dudes something they don't know about.
No. You answer for your division, and I'm gonna answer for mine.
Okay.
The Northeast is clearly not taking Vegas lightly, like at all. Huff is back. The U is back, ladies and gentlemen. In case you guys didn't know it, in case the rest of the league doesn't know it, the actual U is back. The U, you know what I'm saying? The real U is back in way more ways than one. Those guys have retooled. They got Huff back. There's a bunch of new blood in there. There's a bunch of like legendary guys in there. The vets are back in there to do what they're going to do. So BIC is going to have, Big Mo is a huge addition. And I don't even want to get into everybody else, but having them be the counterpoint for BIC in the East, is going to keep them sharp. But again, I always say this: they watched that championship game. They watched everyone. They watched Shuck. They watched Clark. They watched Scooter. They had to watch Kenny Mack because I was singing his praises. They watched RTC. They watched Tone Smith. They watched AJ McQuaid. They watched Q. They are building and creating counters for each of those people naturally, because some of those guys were already on the team. So if they know what, they are not taking the West lightly whatsoever. So if Derek is right and the West are kind of like, they ain't got nothing for us, it's gonna be a woo. I would hope it's not in the championship. That's why I really did hope and wish that there was a middle point in this season where the current champions face the champions right before them.
Let me say, I think it will.
Derek, is that a possibility, Derek?
It is a possibility. There's plans in the works for it specifically, and it won't be, if it happens, it won't be what you think it is, but it will still be beautiful and something everybody wants to see. But
it'll be a showcase.
I would say there's about a 70% chance of you will see Insomniacs and Sick potentially having games somewhere in the center of America with games against
BIC and the U.
Or it would have been the Nightcrawlers, but I don't think they're going to do that with the Nightcrawlers. With their
no, that's a waste of time. Just make it Jersey. Vegas. Let's just do that.
Well, I think they're going to do that, and I think they're going to do L.A., Ohio, so that we can get the Aces versus the Chaos, so we get their top comp there. But I want to see maybe Florida goes versus Indy now, and that's what they do. So something along those lines.
That would be phenomenal. But no one cares about those other bum ass games. Just those two games you talked about.
Yeah.
Sick is going to get destroyed. No matter who the Sick plays, they're going to get destroyed. But BIC or the
well, you know what, Rob, in their current iteration, you might be right. So Sick last year versus BIC last year versus the U last year, I would say it was comp. With the U getting retooled and bringing Huff back, and with BIC adding who they added, they are an Insomniacs stratosphere now, not down where Sick.
Yeah, please, A7 football gods, make it happen. I truly don't care about what Ohio, LA, and I don't care about those bums. So, Sick, Insomniacs, BIC, U, make it happen. And if it's a showcase, that would suck because it would be nice to put a 1 in that loss column for the Insomniacs in the regular season.
Oh, no,
y'all don't want that.
They said if it happens, the games will count because they're going to flex them. They're going to flex them out of the games they're in and play and have them play against the others.
Praise football, Jesus.
So
praise him.
But let me just tell you, the format will have to be different, and that will be the excuse that either losing team has. That's the problem.
Oh crap! I think I know what the hell you're talking about.
You know. I don't want to put it out until it happens.
Yeah. But I'm in an. I don't like that.
Hey, but if it's the only way we get it, you want.
No, I can't say. Derek, that's fucked up. I can't say nothing.
Right?
I can't say anything.
I put it together though.
Yo, Derek just shut me up. Yo, I can't say a word. Like I can't say shit. Damn, and I know exactly what he's talking about, yo. I hate being in the know. Ignorance is bliss. I miss when I was stupid. I didn't know shit. Damn. I would have been all excited, like, yeah, we're gonna get the game, and then we're gonna get it. I'm like, we got the game.
All right, guys.
It's like one of those.
But I mean, guys, again,
that was great.
These guys for being on, ladies and gentlemen. What you just saw here was probably some of the best that you are going to see all season long, previewing what's coming for season 10 of the A7 NFL. Derek, Duncan, Big Rob, Fabien, appreciate both of you guys for coming in here and speaking your piece. Nothing but good work between the two of you. Kept it civil. Didn't go too crazy, but it was look, guys, if you're not paying attention to what's going on, this is going to turn into something that's bigger than even Big Rob and his friends out there in the Northeast could have even expected for this league. And if this debate here was any sort of indication, of what's coming for the 10th season of the A7FL. If this doesn't get your blood pumping for the league, I don't know what will. Big Rob, again, my friend, appreciate you for having the time. You
No
already know
problem, man. No
the
problem.
door is always open for you.
Appreciate it.
Derek, no doors always open for him. Matt Sticks, for Country Cave, myself, JP. We appreciate the hell out of you guys for hanging out with us on this Tuesday morning. We'll see you guys on Friday evening with the predictions of the conference championships and everything else A7FL playoff. We appreciate you. From the All Pro JAFFOs, we'll see you guys later. Oops.